Welcome back to the Crack the Code podcast. Today I'm here with Rosemary. Rosemary is a certified elite trainer with the Peter Sage Academy. She helps executives step into the dance between business and life so they can experience the joy of unity and fulfillment today and every day. She's the owner of Healthy Connections and also enjoys being a speaker, certified personal trainer, yoga teacher, and professional singer. Her background also includes over 3 decades of corporate sales and sales management. So welcome back, Rosemary.
Thank you so much, Cora. I'm listening to that bio and I think, gee, from an outside perspective, that lady's got it together.
Yeah, and that's a lot, and it's an interesting combo. We had you here for episode 4, so it's fun to have you back and get a little more detail about how you got to where you are, because I find it's an interesting mix, being in sales and then a yoga teacher. It sort of seems like polar opposites. So I look forward to hearing maybe a little bit of how that journey went for you, because I know there's a lot of women out there looking for change. And it's fun to hear stories of what other women have done and maybe give them some ideas of where they can go.
Well, I always used to think of myself as a Renaissance woman, but my kids used to say when they saw the movie Forrest Gump, they're like, Mom, you're like that. Because I had a tendency, I tended to be in the right place at the right time and meet people like, Steven Tyler and I'd
Oh,
come home and they'd say, how the heck? I don't know. The universe is very friendly to me. That's all I can say.
oh,
But when you look at my bio and you say, yeah, she's got it together, I did have it together most of my life. And I have always believed in a philosophy of if you want to accomplish something, you either learn how to do it, you be around the right people, you look for the opportunity, and you can do it. And I have since in my career learned that it's not only going to be accomplished by me, but it's also having faith in the universe and what you put out. So that's a whole nother topic we could get
yeah.
into about your energy and philosophy and beliefs. But so I had a wonderful career and 2 beautiful children and a fantastic family life up until my early 40s, mid 40s. And a devastating experience happened quite unexpectedly. An ex-in-law who decided that she was not too happy with how lovely our family was, and she was in a miserable relationship, called DCF on our family. And it cascaded and spiraled into several years of horrible, horrible situation. Um, not I can't get into I
Yeah,
could get into
yeah.
details, but the idea was that over time, no matter what we did, we would get something cleared. And then, unfortunately, my daughter was a teenager at the time and she realized she could use it as a weapon against us. And since then, things are fine between us and everything's wonderful. But what happened in the process is I lost myself. It was many years of struggling, of trying to keep our family together, trying to prove that we're good people. I lost faith. I lost faith in the system. I lost faith in um, myself mostly, and I lost faith in my faith. And I became the shell of who I had been. I had always been the successful one. If you want to accomplish it, you can do it. And all of a sudden, these obstacles were completely out of my control. And the first thing I had to realize in that process was that so much of it was out of my control because at the worst of it all, I just had no reason to get out of bed in the morning. And I like to say I basically was just taking in and out oxygen. You know,
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
the thought of joy, of fulfillment in my life, there was none. There was none. It was just survival, and it was barely that. And I came to a point where I knew I had to find a change. And the one thing many things I've
Hmm.
learned in the last 6 years of my quest to find the me
Yeah.
again was the things that we can change and can't change. And I love the serenity prayer because of it. And one of the things I learned was the things I can't change. So
Mm.
I knew that those were things that I had to let go. But the things I could change, there are only a few things we definitely can change. And there's too many people I deal with in my life, and I'm sure you do too, that stress over things they can't change.
Yeah.
Those I'd say the majority of people spend their lives in stress and anxiety over things they have no control over. There's no
Yeah.
certainty, there's no control, and yet they spend so much time spinning their wheels, losing sleep, not taking care of themselves because of it. And I have a person in my life, and if he's listening, he knows who I'm talking about, who I often say, not only do you make a mountain out of a molehill, but you step over the molehill while you're trying to build the mountain.
Mm.
You're creating drama in your life, and it's just so unnecessary. So part of what I do for my business is uncover those things and help bring people to some peace. But back to what happened with my change, I
Mhm.
discovered that things that we can change are our thoughts, our emotions, our intentions, our energy, and our environment. And so I started working on those things over the last 6 years. And by the time I came to find Peter Sage, who's my mentor and who I'm now a trainer for, I had uncovered a whole lot of things that I could change
Nice.
and
Is that when
find
you
my identity again.
Yeah. Is that when you got into yoga too, or was that before
Oh,
that?
I started no, actually, yoga was part of my another one of my morphs, and I'm sure many of your readers can under or listeners. Oh my gosh, readers.
Yeah.
See, I'm old school.
Yeah.
I still
I know.
say, am I going to be taped?
Right.
And the young
Yeah.
people look at me and go, taped? What are you
Yeah.
going to tape?
Right.
Recorded. But anyway,
Yeah.
um, when my children were little, I gave up my sales career and started a whole new career and became a personal trainer and yoga teacher
Mm.
because I could work around their school schedules and their homework and sports and everything else. So that was where I morphed into another career. So
Nice.
that's all been just a part of the process where I've come to be who I am. But my identity when I lost it was, geez, I knew deep down inside I was a great mother, but was I proud to say that when I had people knocking at my door with a clipboard saying, we have another report? Like,
Mm.
I was lost. But what I do, and I often work with my clients on this, is the identity that we have is so essential to our well-being and who we are. And so many of us, either their whole lifetime or at times in our lives, lose that identity and don't know who we are. And
Yeah.
with that, and then that changes your sense of purpose. It
Yeah.
changes your goals. It changes how you react to other people. And so I love to work with people and delve into their identities. And I work on my identity statement all the time. And I have come up with one about 6 months ago that I absolutely love. And yes, I am an elite mentorship trainer, but I am also, I'm going to have to read it
Yeah.
because like I
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
I'm
Sure.
still in Venice. So
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm an inspiring and vibrant mentor and distributor of hope who spreads wisdom and celebrates uniqueness and growth by empowering others to reinvent themselves and ignite their purpose.
Awesome. That's
And when
lovely.
I say that to myself, it reminds me that purpose alone is huge. And
Yes.
without sense of purpose and without our identity, we don't know our purpose, as I said. And we don't, I mean, it's fun to discover, but it also has to be in alignment with our beliefs.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I know a lot of people walking around with an identity that they don't relate to. It was imposed by their parents, or it's what they think other people need them to be. And that leads to a very unfulfilling life.
Yeah. And I think with women too, I know for me, it was a definite wake up time is after your kids are grown, you really go through that, what's next? We've spent so much energy raising those kids. And even if you were working while you're raising them or not, whether you stayed at home, either way, there's a huge change because what's next? What's my
Hmm.
purpose now? Because my purpose for the last 20 years has been raising these humans. And we have a lot of life left. And that's part of the reason for doing this podcast. Because I do hear women saying, oh, I'm too old, I can't do something. And yet
Mm.
there's so many women out there doing amazing things later. And now is your chance to, really, like you say, find your identity and your purpose for now. What's next for the next part of your journey? And it doesn't matter if it's working or not working, but really to find that joy for you. It's now your time.
And people go through that, women go through that, and men, when the children grow, and they go through that with career changes. I mean,
Mhm.
look what happened with COVID.
Yeah.
How many people, the term pivot, I mean, complete 180 change in career and life. And also people that go through retirement, that all
Mhm.
of a sudden the rug is pulled out from under them. They had that label, they had that career, the I know a lot of people that their identity is based on what they do for a living.
Yes.
And then oftentimes their self-worth is based on how much they earn. And so many of those things get flipped around and people get lost. And in helping find their identity, I help my clients look at their gifts. Number one, gifts. We're all born with some amazing talents, gifts, tendencies that, maybe we haven't even tapped into. And then also have some clarity on your purpose. Often there's people that, I like to call them sleepwalkers, the people that just do their job, come home, and they're going through life in almost like a fog. And I have friends that on the surface, everyone would say, wow, they got it, they got everything. And then when I start talking a little bit deeper with them, when they start asking me more about what I'm doing, and they go, you make me feel really great when I'm talking to you, but it also uncovers some of those gaping holes that I know I've been feeling, but I haven't been able to identify them.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing with working. Maybe we're doing it because we should, we feel obligated to, we need to pay the bills. We're not necessarily doing what we love, we're doing what we need to do. And that doesn't make you feel good on the inside. You can pay the bills and look good from the outside, but it doesn't make you feel
Right.
happy from the inside. So, yeah, it's nice to
But the
take that
nice thing
time.
is there is hope. But
Yes.
I tell people that, to identify, they might not like their job, certain aspects of it, but some of it they do like. And so once we identify what are some of those things, some of those values that are very important to them. I have a friend that she recognized that fun was an important value to her, but she wasn't incorporating it in her life. And after working together, she has decided, and I've helped her with it, to make fun be a part, an essential part of everything she does, even in that monotonous job.
Yeah.
To all of a sudden, and now she actually likes her job.
Yeah. And
Imagine that. You can you don't have to switch careers and move,
yeah.
change your marital status, and sometimes you can continue with what you're doing, but in your reframing and also changing your priorities, you can continue with what you're doing, but doing it in a different way and absolutely end up loving it.
Yes. Yes. And that's the thing, is figuring out what parts you love and bringing in more of the things that you love, and possibly, maybe reassigning some of the things that you don't love so that you can do more of the things. And I mean, that's part of why I started a co-working group online too, is to allow women to come and do their business there, but maybe they can come and do their self-care there, because it's not something we always schedule into our time. It always feels like it's the last thing on the list. I know a lady that I'm going to get on her podcast with, who's a painter, and she had these wonderful paintings in the background, but she said I can't remember the last time I painted. So you just don't always make time for the creative outlets that you need. And when you're fulfilled with that creativeness, it allows you to get through the other parts better.
Yeah. Yeah, and my goal is for everyone to live to whatever their potential is and to enjoy their life every day, even when we have those challenges. There's things
Mhm.
that happen in life that are unexpected and sometimes absolutely miserable. But if you can find something positive and something to be grateful about every day, I can't even put a price on it because I know the difference. I know what it was like not to feel like that. And
Yeah.
now to feel joy every day in the littlest things, it's just absolutely amazing. And it's the best part of my job is the sharing of that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so amazing. And I think you have some things you can share with some of our listeners today, which everything will be in the show notes. So we don't have to get into too much detail, but maybe you can give us a little idea of what you're going to share with the listeners today.
Well, I have varying programs in what I do. I have a 7-hour program, which is I'd like to call it putting your toe in the water. Just starting on a couple of my modules, discovering a few things about yourself and maybe about some of the choices that you make and some of your attitudes about wealth and abundance and the universe. Whether you might find out there's some things that you need to change, and often what happens is when someone takes the short course, they want to do more because they have one or two, what does Oprah call it, light bulb or aha
Mm,
moments, where they just realize that tiny little tweak made a huge difference in my relationship or my attitude. And so I have that type of quick course. I also have a 5-day challenge, which is wonderful that I think just about everybody can relate to is changing your peer group.
mm,
Again, what is one of the things we can change?
yeah.
And often, if we're around the people that are victims, I've had them in my life, the folks that I used to call the black clouds.
Mm,
They want to stay where they are and they want to continue complaining.
yeah.
And complaining just keeps you stuck. I mean, that is the glue that keeps you in your situation is to be complaining every day and not trying to find a resolution. So, upgrading, changing your peer group, it's not a new concept, but I think if everyone did that, they might be surprised about the people that they need to pull into their lives, the mentors, the people they aspire to be around, the energy that they get. I mean, the vibration is so different when you're with people that bring you up as opposed to tear you down. You can do all the work you want, but environment beats will. And as if someone is trying to be on a diet or stop smoking and they live with a smoker,
Yeah.
you're just putting yourself at odds.
Yeah.
And as I said before, the other course that I have, the program that I facilitate is a 6-month program.
Mm,
And that and the way I start any of these, and I welcome anyone to reach out, and I know we'll have all of my contact information, is to make an appointment with me to just have a conversation,
yeah.
to see where you are in your life. If you have goals, what are they? If you have concerns or questions, I assess folks much as I did when I was a personal trainer.
Mm,
In my personal training, I didn't just look at their physical needs. I talked to them about their lifestyle, what they ate, what they drank, who they hung out with, what their habits were, because to me, it's overall well-being.
right.
And I do the same thing when I talk to people about my elite mentorship program, is that I want to look at everything that's happening in their lives and see if it's a good fit for them
Yeah.
and make recommendations on what will be to their benefit.
Right.
So, and
Awesome.
today I also have, if anyone reaches out and wants to get some more information, I have a wonderful recording and a worksheet on our 6 basic needs.
Oh,
And
awesome.
in a nutshell, we think our basic needs are oxygen, food, water. We don't often analyze and look at our 6 basic psychological needs.
Mm,
And once we assess those and we actually identify, and you might surprise yourself or you might confirm that something, oh yes, I understand that. But I've had people that thought that their one of their basic needs was this, and then they look at their actions, they go, wow, I really put a lot more emphasis on certainty or significance. So I have a recording and a worksheet that I can send to folks if they reach out to
nice. Awesome. That's so much. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of that with us today, Rosemary. And I just want to remind our listeners, if you are thinking of doing something, you need to try something out, feel free to reach out to Rosemary. All her information will be in the show notes. All my information is in the show notes because it's never too late to start something new.
Yes, and as I say, we never run out of now.
Right. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank